Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series where I rank every episode of the original series from my least favorite to my favorite. So today I'm talking about number 147, The Arrival, written by Rod Serling and directed by Boris Sagal. I apologize if I'm saying that last name incorrectly. This is a season 3 episode, near the beginning of season 3 actually, and as always there will be some episode spoilers. So this one's about a federal investigator named Grant who's presented with a mystery when a plane lands with no passengers and even more strangely no pilot. Now this episode frustrates me because this could be a really interesting premise, but this is yet another episode near the bottom of the list where I don't think the execution is particularly good. The acting is solid. Harold J. Stone, the lead actor, does a good job in a role that doesn't give him a ton to work with, in my opinion. And the way he and the other men trying to help him out with this case, their theories and stuff are interesting, although this episode does take a bit long to get going for my liking. After a while, it's like, yeah, let's move on to the next thing. But there's also a really intense scene in the middle of the episode where he's going to stick his hand in the propeller to prove his theory that the plane's not really there, which is at least partially true, if not totally true, when we find out the twist of the episode. But at this point, we've built up to a decent episode, and then things just go downhill from there, in my opinion. So what happens is after this man Grant sticks his hand in the propeller, basically the plane disappears, and it's also inferred that this whole thing is some kind of hallucination or dream because like everybody disappears, including the people. Now, this ending to me was kind of a cop-out. It was kind of unsatisfying. It's almost like Rod Serling had this great idea for a script but didn't know how to end it, so he's like, we're going to go back to the it's all in the guy's head thing, which wasn't new even at this time. Twilight Zone had already done it. This was a plot device that was already around. And I'm not saying it's a terrible one. This can really work. There's some Twilight Zone episodes I like a lot that are dreams or hallucinations or things like that. But this one gives no real clues early on. At least I didn't see any that this is really happening, and I don't think it's done particularly well either. The guy just kind of walks out alone with like plane noises. It turns out the reason for this is because there was a case he couldn't solve years ago, so like he made all this up in his head, and it's like, okay, that's okay, but it's nothing too exciting. And then this also brings about, kind of some inaccuracies, or maybe not inaccuracies, but questionable things about the episode. So it really doesn't make any sense that he could have made these guys up. Is it just a coincidence that he made up the same people he was going to meet? Like, I don't always need everything spelled out and answered, but there's just a lot of stuff you got to kind of go with for this. It was all a hallucination to make sense. And for me, the episode just kind of falls flat. The first half of the episode's pretty good. I just think the episode kind of gets worse and worse as it goes. And overall, that's why The Arrival ranks at 147. Now, this isn't like a terrible episode or anything. It's certainly watchable. And I know some people who enjoy this one, so maybe it's just me. But The Arrival doesn't quite work for me, but it was a good try. I'll put it that way. So, as always, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave me a comment on the video if you would like. Thanks for your support. Next up will be number 146. Thanks for watching.